thank you so very much for joining me on this little call. I know your time is valuable, but as a lot before we do anything, maybe do you want to give a quick intro to you, what you do, and what you're doing with Greenwood at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Chris. My name's Graham Feek. I'm Deputy Chief Executive of Greenwood Academies Trust. We run 37 academies in the east of England and the East Midlands, primary, secondary and special education needs schools. So I guess on this particular project, we've come to this really through a sort of long-standing relationship we have with Microsoft, using their software over a number of years, and really trying to find ways of, quite frankly, doing things better and saving money. As you probably know, most academies and schools, if not all academies and schools, need to save money and do things better. I guess we're no different to that. We spend around £10 million a year on administrative functions across the entire trust, and we need to spend less than that, and we need to do things better. So I guess in terms of this project, we're really wanting to focus in on those sort of core processes that are fundamental to our business, both within our Academy Trust and within our academies, and trying to find ways of investing in those in low code to actually ensure that tasks are done better and cheaper. So fundamentally, it's about doing things better and saving money and working with trusted partners.
Oh, amazing, man. That's great. And I think like the low code approach is really good on that layer. So would you say that like that's the ultimate goal, right? To save money and just do things a lot quicker and obviously more effectively?
I think so, yeah. I mean, ultimately, we've got a defined pot of money, and it's about getting as much of that to the front line as we possibly can. And low code is something that we've looked at for a little while. So in quite a few of our academies and our central team, members of staff have used low code Power Automate to automate tasks that they deal with on a day in, day out basis. And in some of our academies, they've gone a little bit further to put some processes in place. But I think we came to the conclusion that whilst we're encouraging staff to do that, there was actually a risk without some sort of boundaries, controls, and some real due diligence around this. It could ultimately be counterproductive in the long run because you're reliant on individuals putting processes in place. And what we really wanted to do was to have an organisational approach to this, so we could develop it in a secure way where we could have professional change management, I guess, and allow us to focus on the things that we thought we had the biggest return on investment. So that's why we're still pursuing low code, and we're encouraging staff to do that, to automate tasks that will make their life easier. But in terms of an organisational approach, that's why we've decided to go into Dataverse, into Power Premium apps, and to build things out in a planned, methodical way that we know is going to be resilient over time.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense, kind of not allowing for the Wild West, so to speak, but also, getting people to be creative and build the right things to solve the problems. I mean, that's awesome. So I guess my next question, from the ANS perspective, I know we're doing quite a bit of stuff with you, but what made you select the ecosystem approach? Was that something that you've heard of before?
It wasn't until we started talking to ANS through introductions with Microsoft, and I think it just became very obvious to us at that point that there needed to be extra security, extra, I guess, diligence built into the whole process. So at that point, we did some work looking at some of our business processes to work through which ones might be most appropriate in the first instance to use the Dataverse ecosystem for. And we found that a really helpful process, actually. And the processes we've gone with initially are ones which we believe will get high value in terms of savings, but also organisationally aren't that difficult from a sort of change management piece. So we thought having some professional support to actually work with our team, and that's what we particularly liked, is the fact that this is not being done to us, but it's actually training a number of our members of teams out. So then in the future, we can do more and more of this. And I guess the ultimate goal is that working with colleagues in other multi-academy trusts, we're not the only organisation facing these challenges or having this opportunity. So it's about ultimately sharing what we're doing and providing a bit of sector leadership on this.
Oh, for sure. I love that. I've always thought that low code, the approach provides a really good platform to share, and there's a lot of reusable stuff. So it's amazing. And you know what? We were chatting to another org last week, and the approach was exactly the same. It's like, let's share stuff. Let's make sure we can do things a lot faster. So I love the attitude, man. It's amazing. Okay, last one. This is the fun one, right? So there's a lot of really interesting stuff coming out from Microsoft from a tech perspective. And I know we're not necessarily talking change and adoption, but what do you think the future holds with all that new stuff like AI? Is there anything you're looking into at the moment? Where do you think this is all going to go? And what's the plan? Do you have one?
We've got an emerging plan, but
Cool.
I think the danger at the moment, actually, whilst a huge opportunity, is the technology has grown at a faster rate than I think most organisations can understand what the potential implications and benefits of that technology are. It's happening so quickly, and the more people that you talk to in the industry, some of the things that are not too many months away require some real thought, thinking through at an executive level to make sure that the tools that we're using and the ways that our staff are using them, and particularly the way that our pupils are using them, meet the sort of expectations you'd have of an organisation that is about essentially supporting the well-being of young people and trying to make sure that they succeed in life. So there's a lot to think about them. I mean, I think from a technical standpoint, a lot of the opportunities around, various large language model development, GTP4, how that's potentially, going to be in a more controlled environment whereby, within Bing, for example, you'll be able to put information in from your own organisation in a secure way, which obviously, you wouldn't want to do in a public way. I think will open up all sorts of new benefits around not just administration, but I think with some careful thought, really how we can become even more pupil focused and support young people in their learning. But I do think that the sector needs to take a step back to work out how best to use these tools because they are incredibly powerful. Will make a positive difference if that is sort of guided by some very strong principles by educators. I think we haven't got answers to many of those questions yet, which you think, well, actually that's a bit of a surprise. But I don't think we're on our own. I think the more colleagues I speak to in the maths sector, we're all challenged by this. And I think when you talk about AI, it just means something different to everybody that you mention it to. So yeah, very exciting. We've got a responsibility to do this in a measured, sensible way, which is what we're going to do.
Oh, absolutely. Well, listen, man, thank you for answering my crazy questions. And yeah, it's always good to chat to you. And we've really enjoyed partnering with you guys on this stuff. So hopefully there'll be lots more to do. But yeah, thank you very much, Graham. Honestly, it's super helpful.